What's up, guys? You could say hi to my cat first. Cat likes to lift weights too. Very strong. Now, let's get back into our topic. We're going to follow up through the biceps. We had a little short the other day, shows some common mistakes and some basic movements, exercising that muscle. So let's dive into some anatomy first, very quickly, very simple. The biceps have two heads, that's why it's called bi. One head is short, one head is long, and they both have the same attach point tendon through the insertion point below your elbow into your forearm. Now the movement of the muscle itself, it will basically do flexion, which is bringing your elbow or your forearm up towards your shoulder, and the other movement is what we call a supination, which is palm down to palm up. There is another muscle assisting the biceps with the elbow flexion, which is called the brachialis. It's a shorter muscle, deeper, right underneath the biceps, and goes from underneath the biceps into the forearm as well. Now, if we're talking about both muscle function will be the same, which is basically flexing your elbow up. Now, when we're talking about exercise gains and motion to make the muscle become bigger, there are two types of movement: compound movement and isolated movements. Okay, so compound movement. Compound movement is technically any movement that would work over multiple muscle groups and also can work over more than one joint. Isolated motion, I'm only focusing or thinking just only my biceps, only my quad, or other muscle groups. I rather to start with compound movement because you're not putting too much stress on the muscle early on, and you basically work your way through to more of an isolated form. As you're stressing the muscle is more in a position to receive the workload that you're applying to it. Now, obviously, depending on your goal, you could work through more compound movement workouts and keep up with that type of workout, like push-ups, chin-ups, lats, pull down. That would require more than one muscle to generate the motion desired. Now, going back to the biceps, we're going to go through some isolated movement for the biceps, and simply, obviously, as we spoke or we did in the short, you're going to maintain the shoulder, the head of the shoulder back, and then you're going to maintain that position and concentrate on flexing your elbow up and down. Now, to work, some people like to have the fuller end of the biceps to look bigger and fuller. Now, two things you want to think about it. When you work on the deeper muscle underneath your biceps, the brachialis, when that muscle gets stronger and bigger, it actually pushes into your biceps to make it stands out more. So actually training that deeper muscle that you're not going to physically see it help the overall appearance of your biceps. Now, how to trigger that out, one of the main common exercises is the reverse grip. For that muscle is the reverse grip, and obviously this is one of the main ones that you can do. Now, to trigger the long head of the biceps, basically with change your grip with your forearm the way it shows, and just kind of move up and down with it. You can go across body and you can go forward. Now, some isolations that you could do more in a position with a hang and then down, obviously with no gym equipment or bench. This is another form of the same movement. And also you can do sitting in a chair and with a curl movement to isolate the movement. Now, why this is considered to be an isolation? Because I'm obviously pushing my origin point slightly forward, putting all the stress down to my forearm, and only initiating one direction of motion from my elbow, generating while my shoulder is supported or not engaging in me creating the movement. This is how you isolate your biceps. So understanding the workload, how much weight you're using, for example, and the motion, in which direction you're moving, for example, going back to the biceps, and the direction of motion, and so on, will determine the likelihood of you hurting the muscle or not. Like anything else, you want to make sure you're warming up the muscle. You're not going to be hopping into your car in the morning and it's 20 below zero outside and starting the car and driving it. You want to warm it up for a few minutes before you actually go ahead and drive it. Same thing to your body. So that's why I rather to go through compound movements in order for me to trigger or target the muscle in an indirect way, as me allowing it to adapt through the motion and the stress I'm applying on it. Stretching is another good one. I rather personally do the stretching towards my end of workout, not before I start working out. You could go through range of motion and general flexibility, not stretching, because stretching promotes relaxation to our muscle. So you want to know timing, when to apply stretching versus basically going through motion or flexibility prior to exercising. I hope that was good information for you guys. Stay tuned for more information and more videos to come. Thank you.